Okay, so let's go back over to the other side of the page where we started. And the first two sentences, welders join metals together using a high-intensity electrical arc between 6,000 and 10,000. I want you to highlight that. Then I want you to drop down a couple of sentences there, the second to last two sentences in that paragraph. It says, a strong focus on precision and safety is key for success in this craft. I want you to underline that, highlight that. Then each one of the particular welders, highlight those and make yourself familiar with the different types: pipe welder, stainless steel weld, inspector, underwater, robotic. Highlight all of those and try to familiarize yourself with those, because they're tough. And then under salary, you want to pretty much highlight that whole area, because on every questionnaire they talk about the salaries that they make. That's part of this deal. So I would underline all of those. Under job growth estimates, I would underline the first two sentences, highlight them. The demand for welders in the U.S. is expected to grow about 3% in the next decade. I would highlight that, and then I would highlight the skills, of course: detail, hand-eye, physically fit.
I have a question.
Sure.
Even though this says the 3% growth or the 10% growth, when was this book published? Because since the baby boomers are already starting to retire,
Yes.
all right, that growth should be a lot higher than they're estimating in this book now.
If you remember, in section 1, they talk about that. They talk about very much about that, about the fact that the baby boomers are now, that's me and you. We're the last of a dying breed, and we're all right here and right now at about the retirement age. You know what I mean? So they're saying that.
I'm 68, so I know about that.
Yeah.
And I'm going back into the workforce.
Yeah.
Because I got tired of being retired.
Yeah, absolutely. But surely they talk about that. It's one of the questions in the first review where it talks about the reason there's going to be a lot more jobs opening up is because there's a lot more jobs available. There's 100,000 old dudes like me. Look at me now. I'm not out in the field working anymore. I had to change my career, to teaching, because they don't want old bastards out there anymore. It doesn't matter how good you are. It's a sad, sad thing. It's a sad truth.
But they also want you guys to be teaching the younger people.
Absolutely. That's what they're excited about, is that they damn sure have a lot of good teachers, that are hanging up their operating gloves and coming out here and working with you young kids, and which is great. We didn't have those types of advantages, There's only apprenticeship programs for unions, and there's only so many unions, right? So,
or if you were lucky to walk on a job site and get yourself hired.
Yeah.
As an apprentice.
Yeah.
Or as a laborer in the beginning.
Yeah, pretty much, all of us old-timers, I'm going to tell you a story. I went to J.F. Kiley, which is a great company, union company. They do all the gas work, And when I was about 20 years old, I went down there because I had been working for my friend's father, who owns a company doing pump and tank work. They used to rebuild gas stations, put in all new tanks and things like that. So I had about 2 years' experience running Ford backhoes at the time. And Ford backhoes were the thing. Most backhoes were Fords, especially the older ones. And what they call a four-lever Ford. It used to have 4 levers on the back, not joysticks, but 4 levers, one next to the other, and used to operate with your palms and your fingers. So I was excellent on that machine. And I went to J.F. Kiley, and I was going to put an application in, not realizing, because I was so young and naive, what an amazing company that it is. And that had I just shut my mouth and did the right thing, I would probably have done really well. But I wanted to be an operator. And I went into the office, and by accident, I took a left, went up this stairway, and wound up walking right into John Kiley's office, the owner. You know what I mean? And this is in 1984. You know what I mean? And he's like, hey, kid, you lost? You know what I mean? I'm like, nah, I'm looking for a job. You know what I mean? He goes, oh, that's great. He's like, what are you looking to do? I go, I want to be a backhoe operator. He's like, huh. He goes, you do? I said, yeah, I've been running Ford machines, doing pump and tank work for a couple of years now, and I'm really, really good on that backhoe, you know what I'm saying? And he said, you know what, Joe? He goes, I'm not going to doubt for 1 minute that you're really good on that backhoe. I believe every word you say, because you're awful full of piss and vinegar. You must be telling some kind of truth. He goes, but the thing here, Joey, is that I like your attitude. I really do. You know what I mean? You're a go-getter. You know what I mean? He goes, but in this company, my friend, you ain't going to see no backhoe for a minimum of 3 years. You're going to start out on a shovel. You're going to learn how to correctly put gas pipe in the ground and extremely safely while you're doing it. And you're going to work for 3 years as a laborer before you ever get a shot to get on a machine, you know? And so that's the end of that story, and that's the way it was, you know? For cats like us, pretty much we all had to start out as laborers, whether we working for a paving company or an excavation company, whatever the case may be. Your path to becoming an operator is usually first through being a laborer. And the truth of the matter is that, you know, anyone who's been a laborer is always a much better operator than someone who's never been a laborer, because you don't understand the woes of the kid on the shovel. You know what I mean? The kid on the shovel, he knows them woes, you know? We can make or break somebody's life out there when we're running his machines, depending on how good we are and how willing we are to do the right thing. You know what I mean? There's been plenty of times, you know what I mean, where the kids are anxious and they want to jump in there and they want to shovel something. You know, they just want something to do because they have nothing to do at the moment. But that's okay, you know. Where me, on the backhoe, you know what I mean? I know what it's like to have an operator who's a douchebag, you know, and he could have got 5 more scoops easily, you know what I mean? But he going to be like, nah, get the rest by hand, you know what I mean? And he going to sit there and make you dig the last 2 or 3 feet by hand, you know what I'm saying? That ain't me. I'll tell you when to get in there, you know what I'm saying? Get out of there. I'll tell you when I want you to jump in there. And when I tell you to jump in there, you're going to have to dig about 3 inches before you hit that pipe, not 3 feet. You understand? That's the difference between an operator and a laborer, understanding and knowing each other. You remember what it was like when you were a laborer and how that prick made you do all that work by hand when it wasn't necessary. He could have got that with the machine. You know what I mean? So you know in your mind, you say, when I become an operator, I ain't never going to do that shit to the laborers. I'm going to get all I can because all I'm doing is this. They're out there in the elements freezing their ass off doing physical labor. I'm in here doing this. So if I got to go through the rotation 2 more times and get 2 more buckets and make your life a lot easier, you're going to love and respect me. You're going to love your operator. You're going to say, Joey, the man, Joey never made me do work I don't have to do, you know? Or you can have some hard on, you know what I mean, who goes, I'll get it. It's too close. I don't want to hit the pipe. You do it. And they're justified by saying that because they don't want to hit the pipe. They get that. But the good operator, he'll know exactly where he is, you know what I mean? And he'll get you so close that you'll be doing a minimum amount of handwork, you know. So without question, the best operators are people who were laborers first. You pretty much have to be a laborer first. And you're going to sit there and you're going to watch what goes on day to day. And you're going to learn how to do pipe. You're going to learn how to lay it out. You're going to pull the line out and mark the line and say, okay, this is great. And mark where the basin's going to go, you know. And you're going to learn your layout and all those things that are necessary. Because you just can't jump in there and say, okay, where you want me to start digging? You got to understand how pipe goes together. You know what I mean? If you're going to be a pipe operator, you got to understand every bit about how it goes together. You can't just say, I'm just here to dig where you want me to dig. You're supposed to know where to dig. You know what I mean? Based on your experience, you know that when we get to this point, now we're going to turn and start going that way. You know, we have to get this little lateral done before we can move on. You know, and so that, you know, it definitely, you know, short of being an apprenticeship program of some kind, you know, all of us out here, we had to start by standing and working, working hard, shoveling by hand, learning how things are done, and then we work our way into that you know, we finally get that chance. I tell you, I learned because my foremans were a bunch of drunks, and they like to go out at lunchtime and kill an hour, hour and a half at the bar. You know what I mean? And when they were gone, as soon as they left, me and Mike jumped right on the shit. We jump on the bulldozer, jump on the grader. Go on, boy, let's see what you could do. I wrecked every fucking thing there was. I hit every fucking thing there was to hit. I broke the curb. I broke the manholes. I broke the catch basins. You know what I mean? Wrecked everything. And they'd come back half drunk, laughing like a motherfucker. They'd be like, I don't care what you wreck. All I know is you're going to fix that shit before tomorrow. And that was the agreement we had. They didn't care what we wrecked as long as we were willing to fix it. Now, when I say wreck shit, I don't mean disasters. Like, I clipped the corner of a basin with the dozer and knocked out 10 bricks. You know what I mean? Now I got to put them 10 bricks back together and cement it all up. So we used to fucking wait. At the end of the day, anything that we broke, when they left, we'd run out, get a 12-pack, come back, start mixing mud, start laying block, drink a beer, talking shit. We going to wreck some more shit tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? For sure. I can't wait to do it. But that's how I learned. That's how I learned, and that's how everybody
Can't get away
learns.
with that
You ain't
nowadays.
never going to be that great operator in the beginning. You're going to hit shit. You're going to tear through lines, pull out gas lines, pull out water lines. Maybe not. Hopefully not. But you might. It's probability that it will happen. But all that, again, it's just part of it. It's just part of it. It's just learning as you go. Learning as you go. And if you're smart, you'll listen to the old timers. You know what I mean? You'll listen to them with fervent ears, because they're not there to brag, them old timers. They're there to make sure you do it right, and that you don't blow them up while they standing next to you trying to help you, that you don't hit a gas line and kill everybody, But you'd be well served to listen to the old timers. And I like to say that this is like monkey see, monkey do. Like if you see what they're doing and you just replicate what they're doing, you should be able to kind of do almost anything. You know what I mean? If you're the type of person that can watch somebody a time or two and say to yourself, I think I could do that. I can repeat what he just did, right? And that's how you learn. Watch and learn. Monkey see, monkey do. You seen what I did, now you do that. Do exactly what I did, and that's how you learn. But it all starts right here with this, getting the hang of these controls. First we got to learn how to control the machine works and how to control the machine before we get into the multiple different types of things that could be done with an excavator, and each chore will be a little bit different, you know what I mean? But you'll be safe and secure in the fact that you know how to operate that machine and how to operate it safely, no matter what they ask you to do, and some things will be obvious and you'll be like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. You do it. That's how I was. They tell me dig fast around a force main. When I was working at Diamond Material, the supervisor was like a crackhead, literally, like 40-something years old, but he was absolutely out of his fucking mind, and he wanted to go like 800 miles an hour. And I'm a grading guy, I'm a finished grade guy, I run dozers and graders, and of course I can run an excavator, because anybody could run an excavator, So he got me digging pipe, and he got a crew of laborers, about 10 of them, all fucking standing around, you know what I mean, doing nothing. Then fucking, he gonna be like, Cintron, you're an operator, I need you to dig pipe today, you're gonna dig pipe. I say, all right, but I'm not gonna go fast, I'm telling you, Tim, I don't go fucking fast, you know what I mean? So he sent me out there with a crew of 10 kids to dig up a 16-inch forced water main that they had to fix, you know what I mean? And I'm digging alongside of that fucker, and Timmy comes pulling up, and he's looking in the hole. I'm sitting on the backhoe. He's like, come on, Joe, go faster, right? I open up the fucking door on the fucking, he's a superintendent of the fucking company. I open up the fucking door on the backhoe. I go, get the fuck in there. Dig it faster. You want to dig it faster? Get in the fucking machine, and you dig it faster. And I'll stand here when it breaks. You know what I mean? I'm going to get a fucking head start on it. How's that? You fucking dig it. I ain't digging it any faster. In front of 10 kids, 10 laborers. He looked at me, he got right back in his fucking truck, and he left. And he said, carry on, Joe. Carry on. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you got to have the balls to say, nah, you're putting me in a bad situation. And I'm not doing it. I'm sorry, but I'm not. I'm not here to wreck and break shit. You break a 16-inch main, all fucking hell's breaking loose on the fucking job. Come on.
Be a whole block.
It's like hitting a fire hydrant, man. It's like 4,000 pounds of pressure on that line. I don't want to hit that. I don't mind hitting catch basins and shit. It just got to fix some bricks. I ain't trying to pull out no 16 fucking force main that cause a geyser to go 400 feet in the air. There's so much pressure on that. It's a freaking disaster, a job site disaster if that happens. By the time you get to the valve to shut it off, wherever the fuck that might be, it's going to be a mess. Okay, anyways. All right, I'll pick up at pipe fitter. Pipe fitters install, assemble, fabricate, maintain, and repair mechanical piping systems. Underline that. They work with many kinds of pipe in manufacturing, commercial, and industrial settings such as chemical plants, oil refineries, food processing plants, and paper mills. They work with piping systems that carry water, gases, liquid chemicals, solids, and fuels. Pipe fitters need to have a good understanding of blueprints, basic math, welding, pipe bending, fittings, and valves. Definitely going to underline that whole freaking section. Uh-oh. Okay, now salary. It says the average salary of a pipe fitter is approximately $63,000 a year, with the top 10% of pipe fitters earning more than $97,000. Pipe fitters is a great job. Cool job. So the job growth estimates the demand for pipe fitters in the U.S. is expected to grow approximately 4% in the next decade, which works out to approximately 50,000 new openings per year. I would highlight that too. To be a successful pipe fitter, you should possess the following traits or skills: mechanical abilities, physical fitness, problem-solving skills, mathematical skills, particularly in geometry, ability to measure, cut, thread, and assemble pipe, and the ability to sketch piping systems. Specific qualifications: pipe fitters typically go through a 4-year craft training or apprenticeship program to become a journey-level fitter. Several states require pipe fitters to be licensed when working on gas lines. Oh, you better believe that. Okay. So, in review, going back to pipe fitter where it starts, pipe fitters install, assemble, fabricate, maintain, and repair mechanical piping systems. I would definitely highlight that. And then at the bottom of that paragraph, I would also highlight pipe fitters need to have a good understanding of blueprints, basic math, welding, pipe, bending, fitting, and valves. I would highlight all of that. I would highlight the whole salary thing, the two lines that are there. And under estimates, I would highlight those sentences also. The demand for pipe fitters, because they want it. That's always one of the questions. And then, of course, make yourself familiar with their particular skills, mechanical abilities, physical fitness, problem solving, math. It's just going to get a little harder as we get deeper into it, you know. And I would also highlight pipe fitters typically go through a 4-year craft training or apprenticeship program. I would highlight all of that. How you doing, Ange?
I think good.
You doing good?
A little bit more used to it.
Okay, cool. You keep right on going. One you want to read, or you want me to keep reading? Oh, okay, buddy. Read the next one. 3.25 heavy equipment operator.
Heavy equipment operator. Heavy equipment operators drive and control heavy construction equipment to move construction materials, dirt, and other heavy objects at construction sites. Construction sites, large mills, mining operations, and distribution centers. On large construction sites, heavy equipment may be used to clear, grade, and lift equipment prior to and during the construction of roads, buildings, bridges, airports, and power generation facilities. Examples of heavy equipment include backhoes, bulldozers, dump trucks, forklifts, and excavators. Almost all operators choose to specialize in one or more of these types of equipment. Salary. The average salary for a heavy equipment operator is approximately $61,000 per year. In a recent survey, the top 10% of people in this career earn more than $84,650. Professionals operating more complex equipment typically get paid higher salaries. Job growth estimates. The demand for heavy equipment operators in the U.S. is expected to grow about 4% in the next decade. Metropolitan areas usually offer the most job opportunities, and operators trained to work on multiple types of equipment typically have the best opportunities. Skills. To be successful, a heavy equipment operator should possess the following traits or skills: physical strength, good sense of balance, hand-eye foot coordination, and mechanical skills. Specific qualifications. Several OSHA standards apply to operate different types of heavy equipment. OSHA standard requires operators of powered industrial trucks to be licensed or certified. When operators are tasked with hauling their own equipment between job sites, they may also be required to obtain a commercial driver's license.
Okay, cool. Yep, I would go back and highlight right from the get-go, right under where it starts. Heavy equipment operators drive, control heavy construction equipment to move construction materials, blah, blah, blah. I would highlight all three of those and pretty much highlight everything. There's not really much information, but highlight all of it because the answers are hidden in there, like the salary and examples of heavy equipment include backhoes and stuff. That'll be in there. Down here under job estimates, it keeps seeing about the same thing, 4% over the next decade, but that might come up. And definitely the skills, physical strength, good sense of balance. And I'm going to tell you right now, the two on the bottom are really a big deal when it comes to operating equipment, you know. Having hand-eye and foot coordination, you know. The better hand-eye coordination you have, the better you're going to be. You know, that's really what this is all about. And when it comes to operation of equipment and stuff like that, it's all about hand-eye coordination. So everybody who's an operator definitely has good hand-eye coordination. Like, you know, if you were a good athlete in school, or like if you're good at the game of golf, you know you have good hand-eye coordination, right? There's certain sports that take that, like baseball, hitting a ball, right? You got to have good hand-eye coordination. And, you know, it's kind of like that's a trait that you'll find most operators have. If you talk to almost any operator, they'll probably tell you they were a good ball player when they were in school. You know, the two kind of go hand in hand. Leo, please read crane operator for me.
Crane operators use state-of-the-art machinery to hoist heavy construction materials across and around the job site. Joysticks, levers, and pedals allow operators to control the equipment. Professional crane operators are regularly tasked with using trigonometry and physics equations to calculate maximum load size based on the configuration of the crane and load. There are many different types of cranes, including tower cranes that are seen high in the sky over tall buildings in cities and around the world. Tower crane operators frequently control equipment that remains in place but grow taller as the building progresses upward. In some cases, cranes can rise many stories above their original starting point. Salary. The average salary for a tower or mobile crane operator is approximately $66,000 per year. In a recent survey, the top 10% of people in this career earn more than $91,840. The demand for crane operators in the U.S. is expected to grow by about 8% in the next decade, which is above the average growth for all occupations. Metropolitan areas usually have the largest need for crane operators and pay the highest salaries. Because crane operators have a unique skill, job prospects are extremely good for this profession. To be skillful, a crane operator should possess the following traits or skills: endurance, agility, physical coordination, good sense of balance, ability to judge distance, hand and eye-foot coordination, good math skills, and comfortable with technology. Specific qualifications. According to OSHA standards, crane operators must be certified or licensed with the type of certification based on the type of capacity of the crane. Licensing usually consists of a combination of written exams and physical tests in which individuals must demonstrate safe operating practices.
Okay. All right. In that first paragraph there, about the third sentence down, it starts, professional crane operators are regularly tasked with using trigonometry, physics equations, to calculate maximum load size. I would highlight that for sure. Even the very first sentence, you can highlight that because crane operators use state-of-the-art machinery to hoist above the ground on a job site. I'll definitely familiarize myself with the first half of that paragraph, and I would definitely highlight the salaries, of course, both the 66 and 91. I would probably highlight the first two sentences where it says the demand for crane operators, all the way to where it says which is above the average growth for all occupations. You could stop there. Then I would put, underline endurance, agility, and all those things that are the skills that they need. And then I would also highlight the first two sentences at least. According to OSHA, must be certified, and capacity of the crane. You could stop there. Mr. Ralph, would you read ironworker for me, please?
Yes, sir.